Hello again. In this video, I'm going to be explaining a point of grammar in a way that's different from the way the book explains it, and also in a different order, a little bit different order. So this video does not have a chart number, but what it's about is this: imaginary sentences about right now. In other words, imaginary present progressive. Now, to understand imaginary present progressive, it's probably useful to go back and look at what we've already learned. We've learned imaginary simple present. So let's take a look at this sentence. Marvin drives to work. That's a habit. So because it's a habit now, I use simple present. But if he blank walk to work, he blank save money on gas. Walk to work here is a habit in my imagination. So if it's a habit now in my imagination, then I use imaginary simple present. So you'll remember what we talked about was when it's imaginary simple present in the if clause, I will use simple past, and in the other clause I'll use would plus simple form. So here I'd say, well, take a minute, see what you think. I'm sure you can get it real fast, but if you want, pause. Marvin drives to work, but if he, and so simple past of walk is walked. If he walked to work, he blank save money on gas. He would save money on gas. Okay, so I use imaginary simple present because I'm talking about a habit in my imagination. Walk to work is a habit of Marvin's, but it's only in my imagination. The truth is he drives. I also use imaginary simple present in the other times that I use simple present. So for example, if I have a non-action verb, I would use imaginary simple present. Okay, now let's look at the other thing that we're looking at today. The new information is imaginary present progressive. I use imaginary present progressive when I'm talking about something happening right now, but only in my imagination. So let's think about a possible example. Right now, I am making a video for you, okay? But let's imagine, oh, in my imagination, I'm driving right now. So I might say, let me use a different color. Green would be good. Okay. If I blank drive right now, I blank listen to the radio. Okay? So, here I'm imagining, the truth is, I'm not driving, right? In truth, I'm making this video for you. But I want to imagine I'm driving right now. So because it's imagination about what I might do right now, I'll use imaginary present progressive. Good? Okay. Now, how do I make imaginary present progressive? Okay. You probably remember that I will use past forms to show imagination in English. The way I show imaginary present progressive is I will use, in the if clause, I will use were plus verb ing. And this comes back to something we learned earlier. Remember that when I use be in the if clause of an imaginary sentence. When I use be in an if clause of an imaginary present sentence, then I always use were. So this will always be were for an imaginary sentence. So here I'd say were plus verb ing. Let's go ahead, take a minute and just think about that. Fill in the blank in your mind. You can pause if you want. Okay, so what I'd say here is I want to say were plus verb ing. So I would say if I were driving right now. Okay? And when an American hears were driving, past progressive with were to talk about right now, then the American knows, this person is talking about the imagination. They're talking about something just in their mind. This person is not talking about something that's true. Okay, now let's look at the other part of the sentence. So if I were driving right now, I'd like to listen to the radio. There are two ways that we usually do this second part. Both are very common, and the difference in meaning between them is so small that I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but if you're interested, ask me. You can always ask me at our question and answer periods or make an appointment with me, I'll tell you. But usually, almost all of the time, I can use either one of the two, and they're both okay. Okay, now, so I have two choices. Let me do some erasing here. So if I blank drive right now, I blank listen to the radio. So two possible answers here. One would be would plus simple form. Notice this is the same as simple present. Okay? I could also use would be plus verb ing. So, when I'm talking about imagination, about things right now, in the if clause, I'll use word plus verb ing. In the other clause, in the main clause, I'll use would plus simple form or would be plus verb ing. So, would you please take a moment and think, how would I say these two ways? Again, you can pause if you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. So, I could say, if I were driving to work right now, I would, in simple form, I'd say, I would drive. Oh, excuse me, I would listen. My mistake. I would listen to the radio. Or I can also say, if I were driving to work right now, I would plus be plus verb ing, I would be listening to the radio. Okay. Trying to think if there's anything more I want to tell you about that. No, I don't think there is. Okay. I think that'll be the last video for the week, unless I change my mind. So anyway, I will talk to you soon.